All right. Good morning, everyone. I would like to welcome all of you who joined us here in nice, I hope sunny Warsaw this morning. And for all of you who are joining us online, well, I hope you can also enjoy it because we will have coffee and the possibility to network. You will still have a chance of having a coffee while relaxing and watching this interesting event. So, one more time, good morning. Thank you very much. It is a pleasure to have all of you here and all of you online. We are experimenting because post-COVID, before COVID, we did things on-site. After COVID, we did things virtually. Now we are experimenting with the format and see how it will work. So today we will have an interesting day, an interesting morning. We will have 5 interesting sessions where our speakers online and on-site will be talking about Camunda, business process automation, and all things related to processes implementation. So I always welcome you to ask questions. I will be here and I will also take questions from the chat. So my name is Alexei. I'm solutions consultant from an IBA Group. I came here from Warsaw. So it took me a little bit longer, and our speakers also are coming from Warsaw and Stettin. Yeah, so we still have a couple of minutes for us to talk, and basically I will not spend a lot of time introducing guys from Camunda or from IBA. They will do it on their own, and they will have a chance to maybe talk a little bit more about themselves during the presentation. But I will give you like a very highlight of what we are going to talk. So basically, we will talk about what Camunda is and why companies need Camunda. And some heads up and some new exciting developments that we have at IBA. As I already mentioned, participation is on-site and online. And everyone who is even on-site will have a chance to download and watch the video in a comfortable format later on. Well, for those who are online on-site, I already mentioned we are going to have half an hour break to network, drink coffee, relax, and maybe ask questions again. That's I'm encouraging to do. I already talked about the content availability, and maybe then let me take this time and introduce IBA Group. So we started as a joint venture with IBM in 1993, so we are more than 30 years old. We've been in BPM business, I would say, since that time. We also are partnering with the SAP. We are also in the process of getting the partnership with cloud hyperscalers and some other interesting companies. Camunda, we've been with Camunda since 2017. It's almost 7 years now. We are registered Gold Partner Certified Camunda partners. Our delivery is happening from Poland. Most of our Camunda developers deliver from Poland to customers globally. And one of the reasons of having this event in Poland is to be more active on the Polish market as well. Well, what else about IBA? Since already maybe 30 years, we've been growing naturally. We are 2,500 engineers globally, spread of mainly in Eastern Europe. Poland is our main delivery location right now. And we are into, how to say, getting the latest technologies that we can find on board, and that's one of the reasons we actually work with Camunda. We are also into open source things, because open source helps us and our developers be more productive and learn new things. And I still have 5 minutes. That's great. So I will talk a little bit more about something else. So, as I already mentioned, we have people online, and we had more than 100 people registered online, so I hope those people will also get a takeaway. We have prepared interesting presentations. One of them is actually covering our experience of developing something on top of Camunda and for the Camunda customers. But as I already mentioned, as IBA, we are quite a big, we are into BPM business, but we are also in application development business. And we see the use cases where BPM is only a part of a bigger picture, where we still need to connect, for example, some of the legacy systems, some of the other systems, and that's what Alexei will talk more later on during his presentation. We will show quite a good use case with onboarding of new employees, and that's the post-COVID story which we were able to address, and we would like maybe to share this experience with other people so that they can use Camunda for use cases that are not specific to the basic understanding of what business process BPM is and where it can be for what it can be used. So we have more people coming to on-site, and we would like to thank them. All right, so let's get the ball rolling further. Yes, 15 minutes is something really hard to spend on something interesting, but maybe I have to share something about myself, because normally when you speak it for the audience, you have to be like more closer, but the thing is, my topic today is very straightforward, and very simple. I am the host today, and I am the moderator. Basically, what I will do, I will ask questions, and I will make sure that we stick to the agenda. For that reason, I will have some people helping me, and I would like to thank actually all of the people who were involved into preparation of this event, especially doing the presentation, getting the interesting topics, getting us here, preparing everything. And I believe with their help we will have an interesting, long, I would say short, half a day with all the interesting things, because we definitely plan to have this event repetitive. Every year it will be, I hope, still on-site and virtual event. And so that's about event. That's about thanking everyone who is helping us. I already talked about IBA. And basically, I only have 1 minute to spend, which is great. And so, and
basically today you will help with Q&A sessions.
Yeah, my topic is basically questions, and I again encourage everyone to answer questions. Don't hesitate, because we are preparing for our first presentation, and we will have Tommaso di Donni joining us online from sunny Italy today. So please, Tommaso, it's your turn. Can you hear me? Can you? Yeah. Hello. Good morning, Tommaso.
Yes, I can. I'm going to center myself to the video screen.
I was trying to spend this time talking about how things will be done and prepared, and it looks like we are doing pretty good. Yes, now it's your
absolutely.
floor. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you. Thank you, Alex. And on behalf of Camunda, we thank the whole IBA Group for arranging this event. And again, really nice meeting you guys, everyone. So my name is Tommaso Donni, and my role is Regional Account Executive for Camunda. And for regional, it covers the whole region of Eastern Europe. And again, clearly there is a lot of Camunda expertise and Camunda know-how that are there in Poland. So again, today my topic will be related to discuss how automation is actually creating a value trap in today's business. And I'm gonna really open also, please don't hesitate to ask questions. We might answer right at the end. But again, it's just a way to introduce Camunda and introduce Camunda as the process orchestration platform that can actually alleviate a lot of the automation challenges that some other organizations are actually facing today. So a little bit about Camunda. So the number, it's always ramping. So we are now at 600 enterprise customer, but again, Camunda is really seeing an enormous heat of, how can I say, request based on the fact that from a process orchestration perspective, companies are seeing more and more the need to digitalize a lot of the process and making sure that they can be at the forefront when it comes to digitalization and process orchestration. Camunda has 100,000 orchestrators, that's how we call, in almost 200 countries, and meaning people that are actually expert on the usage of the Camunda platform. There has been 220 plus release updates in since 230 days is I would say 9 months or even less than that. And again, we do have a lot of partners worldwide, and clearly IBA Group is one of the kind of at the top partners that we work with locally, and also the company is currently growing. It's 440 plus Camundi, but again, as an organization, we are growing and we are definitely having a heat of success based on how our customers are seeing value in the usage of Camunda. So we will talk today again about the rise of process orchestration, right? And we will start from a little bit about what's happening in today's world, right? What are the pressure? What are the things that organization needs to adapt in order to be competitive in the market and making sure that they can generate enough revenues to sustain their growth. So the first one is expectation. So customer expectations are changing. The digitalization is making an increased demand of expectation from a customer to say, for instance, in the case of a bank, for when it comes to opening a bank account, the speed, the time by which the document needs to be uploaded, a response needs to be generated. So effectively, the digital interaction is so important that most customers will effectively leave churn after 2 or 3 negative interaction with a company. The other thing is disruption. AI is in the mouth of everyone these days. And again, tech innovation are definitely generating opportunities, but also bringing risks, meaning there is a lot of uncertainty on how AI, for instance, can be utilized. There is a lot of use cases out there, but again, there are a lot of opportunity, but also risk in a way that some of the tech innovation can be adopted by the enterprise customers. And lastly, the technical debt, right? So we as an organization, we are onboarding, we see our prospect or customer onboarding more and more technologies, but again, that only drives to an increase of what is the technical debt and how it's going to be more difficult to orchestrate or to see value out of the multiple technology that have been onboarded in an average enterprise organization. So that means that there are going to be more and more point and siloed automation. So if you think about the classic customer journey, there has been introduction recently in the recent years of many type of technology. You think about RPAs technology, you think about low-code technology, you think about technology that were effectively onboarded predominantly to solve one / maybe two use cases, which definitely might have been useful when it was coming to solving that single use case, but was effectively producing more technical debt and more challenges for the IT in order to maintain, upgrade, or harmonize that technology in their IT architecture, IT infrastructure. Meaning that effectively these siloed point solution are difficult to integrate, are difficult to talk one of another. And again, there is a challenge when it comes to the harmonization of a process that might touch more point solution in order to make it efficient, in order to make sure that it satisfies the customer needs and the customer's expectation. So that means effectively that the business and the IT these days are almost talking different languages, right? The business goes on one speed, the IT needs to instead to harmonize the technical depth. And what it comes is that there is a challenge when it comes to making sure that these two parts of the organization, which should be working together, they actually struggle to actually communicate one another. So what's happening here is that when it comes on the value trap, effectively, we do see the value of introducing this type of technology that is capped. The time to market is actually reduced, and as well, there is very little visibility on what's going on, and very also little visibility on what are the return of investment of this technology that have been introduced. What's effectively the enterprise customer are looking for is to making sure they could increase the value that come from introducing this type of technology, and also maximize the efficiency by which these point solutions are actually talking one another. So when it comes to this conversation, there is a big buzzword that is coming these days that is effectively about process orchestrations, right? So the ability to connect to the point solution, to the system, to the people, to devices, making sure that these can be connected, so you can connect RPA solution, low code, CRM, ITSM. So you basically connect all the way through to making sure that you can scale through the efficiency, you can tame or simplify the complexity in your environment, and you can also provide some formula of alignment between business and IT. And that means that you can also uncap a lot of the value that that was originally forecasted or predicted to achieve by introducing this type of technology within the business. So a little, just one note from Walmart, that with Camunda, they're not just orchestrating processes; they're actually building omni experience for the clients and across the processes that they're orchestrating using Camunda. So what to expect from Camunda, right? So that's clearly one of the main probably curiosity that everyone on this call is actually looking to gather from my presentation. So the first one is, and this is kind of a funny slide. Everyone out there says these days, process orchestration, yes, sure, I can do process orchestration, right? But in order to drive and to provide process orchestration these days, there are three main areas that we need to focus on. The first one, as I mentioned earlier, is the alignment of business and IT, using the one that are the standards for process orchestration or BPMN. So the BPMN part and also the decision modeling and notation part. So effectively making sure that these two areas of the business, which are contributing to the success of the business, are actually aligned and they actually have a common language to work on. The second one is the taming or removing the complexity that comes from some of the most advanced workflow partners, and then we're going to talk about that in a second. And the last one is effectively provide automation at scale with what we have in terms of the name of our engine, which is ZB, which is a cloud-native flexible architecture engine that can scale across the traffic of the workflows that our clients are actually generating. So a bit about Camunda, right? So Camunda is definitely leading when it comes to the strategy, as you can see from the Forrester report. We are now experiencing a huge phase of growth, just because some of the things like innovation, vision, flexibility, and transparency of our pricing, how we are actually able to provide end-to-end orchestration without the need of effectively locking our customer into a way of work which doesn't 100% fits their need. Those are all the things that Forrester, in the Forrester report, have highlighted and have positioned us from a stronger strategy perspective. And again, we are experiencing a huge phase of growth, which means that effectively, even from a market capitalization perspective, Camunda it's growing massively, meaning that circle will grow and grow and grow to make in the future months, quarter, and coming years. A little bit about what we see as an hyperautomation tech stack, right? And again, a lot of our clients they are looking for a way to orchestrate end to end, right? And for end to end orchestration, meaning pretty much orchestrating all point solution. That means your investment, as we discussed earlier, of RPA technology, investment that could be in artificial intelligence. So Camunda comes already with a connector, for instance, for OpenAI, and also the capabilities, because of the flexibility of the platform, to connect not just with new technology, but also with legacy system, right? So the flexibility, the capabilities from an Open API perspective, REST API, literally allows Camunda to be super flexible and connect to all the various point solutions by still leveraging a cloud-native architecture engine like ZB that can basically orchestrate start to end. But what do we see here in this slide is that from a workflow perspective, there are four main areas that our customers are looking in order to to start, to create, to perfectionate, to improve, and to make it efficient, a workflow or a business process. So the first one is discover. And as you can see, that aligns with the concept of also process mining. The second one is designing. And again, that comes into the process modeling part. The automation, which is, again, the ability with an engine to drive start to end the process orchestration at scale, so one process. And the last one is the improve, right? Improve means the ability to look at the analytics history of the process and making sure that any organization could perfectionate the workflow, could perfectionate the way they orchestrate their process, to making sure they can even furtherly reduce after adopting the workflows in Camunda, the way and the efficiency or any cost or competitive advantage that they might have by deploying Camunda in their premises. So again, things are process modeling, process orchestration, and process intelligence covered by Camunda, connecting with, as you can see down below, pretty much all their point solution. Again, IDP, microservices, front-end, RPA, low-code, decision automation, and AI, some of which has the Camunda logo in there, meaning that is part of the Camunda platform, and some of which instead has the kind of the partners logo, meaning that we do have technology partnership that allows pretty much to provide the full hyperautomation process orchestration by using Camunda and by connecting with technology that are technology partners of Camunda. So just a fun one here, right? So everyone might recognize the Pac-Man logo in there, and again, that's kind of the ability for Camunda to process data and do the process structure. So from I'll do a little bit step back here, because as a process orchestrator, Camunda definitely has a unique position for what is being seen now as probably the main area of use cases, which are the artificial intelligence, so the AI use cases. So as Camunda platform orchestrate all types of endpoints across an end-to-end process, what's happening is that we have all the information of a process that helps us to better utilize all type of artificial intelligence technology. So when it comes to artificial intelligence, clearly data quality is the key to success. And no data quality, maybe there's going to be a challenge to provide an outcomes that might make sense to basically drive a strategy of organization. So the better the data, clearly the better the result can be. And there is no better data quality than having all the interface data. So that's not just the input, but also the output from the affected endpoint, plus also a fully documented process. So when it comes to BPMN, which stands again for business process modeling and notation. So, and that is a reflection of what I was mentioning earlier of the common language between business IT. So the business coming with a requirement, working with the IT to have this requirement mapped and implemented and run by Camunda in a way which creates a lot of how can I say, collaboration, but also know-how sharing of a business between two critical departments, which are clearly the business and the IT. What's happening here is that this gives for our Camunda customer a major advantage over things like data mining, as well as data lakes, and also when it comes to process mining technology. So as the process context is actually missing here, or not all interfaces, such for instance, human tasks are covered. Again, Camunda in the platform has the ability to run all the process instances that organization needed. You can also add decision table, and you can also add a human task intervention in the workflow. Say, for instance, in the case you're wishing to approve or reject a specific request that might come from your clients, from internal usage, etc. So the combination of the runtime data plus the fully documented process enable the best use of artificial intelligence in the process automation context. I'm just gonna, and again, this is what is the outcome of the kind of the Pac-Man story, where you do have pretty much all embedded and enabled by leveraging Camunda and the Camunda platform. So I just purposely wanted to kind of to finish a little bit earlier, in case there was the need from A, to read some of the questions being raised, or was any question from the audience, because again, the platform vision of Camunda is very simple. So we want to provide an integrated and flexible. Again, those two words are critical because it's quite hard to find both requirements in the market. Again, if you integrate, then it's a little bit, I would say, framed as a platform, or there's not as much as flexibility as such. So what we want to provide is a universal automation platform, flexible and integrated, that can with embedded intelligence into that. So again, the analytics part of it that allows to perfectionate and optimize the workflows and the process within your environment. So we want to drive adoption to realize value. And what we've seen as a trend from our clients is that there's definitely, we can call it land and expand, but we effectively is the approach of crawl, walk, run, and fly that a lot of our customers sees as they onboard in their process orchestration maturity, but also they see more and more business value by introducing Camunda as a process orchestration platform in their business. And again, we do see the single project start as a way to map the ROI, as a way to start seeding also the expertise on Camunda within the business. That goes to a broader IT initiative that can be run from a department perspective, so vertically, horizontally, but effectively it expands the initial initiative and then leads to a distributed adoption to becomes a strategic scale adoption, meaning that the process orchestration maturity model is come to the top, and that means that the organization is now adopting widely Camunda to drive huge benefit and value from it. So I'm just gonna stop here. First of all, I'm gonna thank everyone for joining today, and I'm gonna open up the floor if there are any question, because again, it's important to answer to any question live while we do have the opportunity. And again, these are our info for if you want to know more. But again, I'm just gonna stop sharing here and keen to know if there are any question from the audience.
Thank you, Tommaso. Really interesting presentation. But let me ask you a couple of questions. And the first one is, any technology, when you adopt the technology, you basically need to understand the return on investment or basic KPIs. Do you help your customers with understanding the return on investment and how users of Camunda can understand the value Camunda brings?
Yes. So no, that's a very good question. So first of all, as an organization, we work very heavily with our partner community. So clearly with you guys and other partners that are part of our critical ecosystem in order to mapping what the ROI is in return of an investment in Camunda, right? So that's definitely super important. What we see a lot is the ability for us to ask the necessary level of question to our clients or future clients to make sure that we could map the ROI or even suggest, if there is a list of potential use cases to start with, which one would be the one that from our previous experience with our clients, or even just from what we might have as well from feedback, for instance, from an industry expert. We are starting also to adding industry vertical expert lead in Camunda, meaning at the moment we do have one for financial services, but we're definitely going to grow as the demand of Camunda grows. But simple answer to that, yes, we do work with our clients because we want to make sure that the value is perceived immediately by the time the investment is even presented to the board. However, as I was mentioned earlier in one of the slides, that there's always the concept of, even from a customer perspective, starting by seeding the value in the organization before they can actually go to next level. We do see also a lot of potential customer that comes to us by having open source expertise. So they actually have a lot of already implemented technology across the board, meaning that they come basically knowing already by making an investment what ROI they might have. It changes case to case, but if we don't get to that point, I think it's hard for an organization these days to make an investment. So either the support comes from their internal know-how because they already know Camunda very well, or it comes from a combination of effort between us and the partners that we work with to making sure that we can map and support their presentation of a business case before they can make a purchase of not just Camunda as a platform, but also Camunda as the services that needs to be for the implementation and deployment.
Thank you. Thank you. Really interesting. I have one more question. Because as a partner of Camunda, we normally work with big players that have number of processes, I would say more than 20, 30 processes to be orchestrated. But what advice would you give to smaller businesses that are considering automation but fear to potentially fall into some form of a value trap? Well, basically, what, in a simple words, do you think smaller businesses have a chance to use Camunda?
Absolutely. So again, we are, as part of the growth, we are literally learning as we walk. So we clearly initially had a lot of interaction with, again, the enterprise customer, which is effectively are the one that might have the highest level of complexity inside, meaning that it's an easier adoption because there is already a need which has tremendous value in return in case that challenge is solved, right? So, but again, we absolutely want to be also very much present in the mid-market and even in the SMB. We do also are currently, how can I say, experiencing a lot of demand in light of what Camunda has been working on in the last 12 months. So we definitely see a great fit also the technology into the SMB. We just need to position in a way which doesn't necessarily fulfill the immense value of a use case, but actually can alleviate a lot of the day-to-day routine and challenging that this organization might have.
Thank you. Maybe a little bit of, I would say, ease of use and growth potential. So you've mentioned in your presentation the connectors, but can you a little bit more elaborate on the topic of a marketplace for the connectors and why it is designed? So basically, why you have a marketplace?
So the connectors are fundamental for the platform to be as efficient as it could be when onboarding to our clients, right? Because one of the probably main two areas of value of Camunda is effectively the abilities of to connect with various systems, right? That could be legacy, RPA, you name it, right? So it's down to the ability to connect and easy to connect. Again, we do also have the SDK capabilities, so the ability to build your own connector in Camunda, but the ability to have something already available for you to test and connect that simplify the speed by which you can generate and onboard value from Camunda is fundamental. And again, the community, the 100K plus process orchestrator expert that there are globally are definitely also supporting a lot the connector areas, the connector availability, right? Because not all the connectors are built by Camunda. Some of the connectors are built by our partner community, even beyond. Some of them are even built by our clients. Again, it's the concept of the community that you take something, you bring something back, right? And that's something that has definitely increased enormously the ability for us to have a marketplace which is now very, very robust. Clearly, as a Camunda, we want to take charge of the main connectors, and I will assume that that's something that it's definitely important. But The marketplace, it's very, very deep in the sense of how many connectors there are. I was basically on a call a couple of weeks ago with one of our solution architects, and then we just basically found out that a connector that we thought didn't exist was actually become available thanks to one of our partners. So again, it's very vibrant, it's very open, it's very, how can I say, and also democratic, because I think there's always the level of feedback on the connector that can be brought in as that this connector really works or that this needs more improvement. But the connector are definitely key to connecting from a process orchestration journey.
Thank you, Tommaso. We will definitely also talk about how we build connectors and how we deploy them on the marketplace. Maybe that's the reason I was asking the question.
I suspect it's so.
Well, but let me ask you some form of a personal question, because I'm a big adopter of an open source, and basically that's the reason I supported the partnership with Camunda. Maybe, can you share the insights and maybe the future plans? Will Camunda still stay an open source and community driven, or you have some other plans?
Well, that's
I know
not
it's provocative a little bit.
No, it's I must say that. So my easier answer to that is that for Camunda to really drive the process orchestration engine on the future, some of the changes that has been applied was basically part of supporting the growth. Right. Again, we see the community as the kind of the main core that helped the platform not only improve but also receive that type of the level of feedback that today we do have, right? And again, there are a lot of technology out there that has experienced the same path to success by starting with open source or by having open source as a kind of the alternative or parallel type of scenario. I don't really know what the plans are. Again, we are all experiencing what the market is driven to, and then again, there's been a lot of speed by which things have moved at Camunda, which is great. What I believe, though, is that the product itself is very robust, and therefore it's down to the ability of seeing value in an investment that will make a difference between open source or enterprise. However, I guess the point is more down to what our customer sees in the value that on adopting Camunda, and how do they see their affiliation with the Camunda platform for future growth and use case. So I answer your question in the best way that I could.
Thank you. Really appreciate you being very honest in this. Maybe a simple one for you. Where customers should start, because what you've shown on your slide deck, sometimes they crawl, then they start, then they fly at the end. So while they're crawling, where they can start? What's the low-hanging fruit for them so that they can get the return on investment quickly and prove it to the management?
So anything that is definitely high value and in high need of digitalization and automation is definitely the right path to start, right? Anything that doesn't, that either replaces something that doesn't necessarily work well and has created some of the challenging, or something that doesn't exist yet and therefore is a kind of a new experiment, say for instance, a new launch of a new product. Definitely I will start from, and where you will see high value is when it comes to customer interaction. Anything customer centric, anything that it's reflecting an automation percentage increase will drive a lot of value based on whatever is the internal ROI. That's definitely what we see low hanging fruit, because you are in a position to map the process from day one, right? You can talk with the business, whether you are a partner, whether you do internally, you map the process in Camunda, and then you just basically build the sequence of events from start to end. And then in between, you will try to understand where the data lies, where the IT is, right? What kind of legacy system point solution do we need to integrate in order to make this work? And again, you can always work in a way which is allow you to almost become obsessed by the perfection of that workflow, and therefore be in a position where before you even push the production button, you're really 100% sure that this is going to work, this is fully tested, and it's not going to take a lot of your time, at least to understand the capabilities, the potentiality that Camunda can drive. So I will start from what is the use case that is most compelling at the moment, that has potential capabilities of driving good growth in the business, and that needs to be kind of a new in the way it is managed, right? New, more fresh innovation. That has to be the kind of things. On the opposite, things that are low value, low interest. Again, it's not just Camunda, but in general, it will be. I will assume that will be deprioritized when it comes to introducing a process orchestration platform. But you can start from both.
Great. Thank you very much. Really valuable answer. Maybe let me question you from another side, because most of your customers are from over-regulated environments. Banking, insurance, those environments are regulated by the government, and sometimes processes need to be changed because of the government regulation. The question is, how difficult it is to introduce change if the process changes?
It's super easy. It's super easy because it's almost like if you were a mechanical engineer, that you bring your car for service, and then there is one piece, one cog that needs replacement, and that cog is immediately visible because again you have modeled your workflows in Camunda, so you already know which part of the engine, or in this case an engine of the car, might needs replacement with a new part. And that's exactly how we work with Camunda, right? You do have your workflows map in front of you, and say for instance, I don't know, the regulation says needs to be, instead of 48 hours, 24 hours, right? So you squeeze by half of a day because that's what regulation, blah, 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 blah. You can basically adjust the time by which that process needs to be, not the process, that part of the process that need to be executed, or it will go back in the original loop because it needs to restart. So the change is super easy. That is why we see a lot of success when it comes to highly regulated industry. You mentioned clearly about financial services, but also telco, pharma. Those clearly are highly regulated. Also, the public sector is definitely highly regulated by themselves. But again, it's a way by which changes can be applied. And one of the things that I saw as a statistic incredible was that the average bank would see a 200 plus changes in regulation that are to be applied in the process on a daily basis. So it's incredible effort from their team to always be compliant, or the risk is to receive high fine from the regulatory bodies in the related regions.
Thank you very much. Let me ask you maybe the final question, because there was Camunda 7, now there is Camunda 8. Any plans for Camunda 9 or 10? Because it's always interesting to ask about the future plans, roadmaps, and see where you guys are going forward.
I'm not aware of anything like that now. What we gonna do by November, we're gonna fully catch up on everything which is in Camunda 7, in Camunda 8, and build beyond that. So that means that literally in a few months, the innovation of Camunda, which is 8 with the new engine, ZB, etc., will fully catch up on everything that has been built previously in Camunda 7, and will go beyond that. So that's where the future lies. I'm not aware of any future Camunda 9, 10, or whatever. But I believe.
Thank you, Tommaso. Really appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us. And it's time for our second session, and I would be happy to give the floor to Alexei, who is here in Warsaw, and he will be talking about Camunda 8. So thank you very much, Tommaso.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Alexei, please, just to let you know that we have quite a good number of online visitors. So please, I don't know exact number, but we had more than 50 initially, and I think it's growing. So please, introduce yourself.
Okay. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Alexei, and I'm currently a lead expert of Camunda in IBA Group. As Alexei already told, we are working with Camunda since 2017, and this stuff in IBA Group has been started together with Alexei and myself. And during this time, we made a partnership. We are a gold partner, certified. Also, we have some education programs inside IBA, and I'm leading this education for our people that we can prove our ability to build Camunda solutions, and we have certified engineers. I even may say that all our engineers who is working in the Camunda area are fully certified, and now we have some additional plans due to the fact that we are moving to the new world with Camunda 8, as Tommaso told, and a new certification program is arised, and we need to go further and start this Camunda 8 journey as well. And now let's speak a little bit about the Camunda 8 and what is the history and how we can move to Camunda 8 in general, if you're already a user over Camunda itself. First, okay. It doesn't change. Okay, now it works. First of all, let me start with some history of what we have, and with a general question: what is an IT and how it is used? I think most of us are from IT, even our guest, who is currently here in Warsaw, and most of the people who are online. And IT now is very important for all the organizations, because human is not so effective as a machine, and IT has to create a proper software to make it good to work, to get data. And in the modern world, the data becomes even more important, and we generate much more data as before, in decades before. And all the time when IT is going on, we are facing with a big issue: how to properly gather the requirements our customers have, how to make the software which will be properly built and will solve the issues and problems the business has. And as we know, IT guys talk a little different language than business, and it's very hard to communicate and to understand what business needs, and then to bring the right solution to the business. And due to this fact, in the past, different technologies and techniques has been emerged, and one of them are modeling tools like UML and BPMN. And having BPMN on the scene, we can start speaking with the business on the same language. This business understands what they want, and the IT can catch what they want. And this is really a great step forward to start understanding each other, to align the business and IT, and avoid the misleadings which can be possible when you're communicating. And when we have those diagrams as documents, the next question arises: can we start execute those models? And IT responded, yes, we can start doing it. And somewhere in 2003, it was one of the first engines which can allow to start execution of our models, which were previously written in BPMN. It's a GPPMN, quite small, quite good Java-based engine. Then it was evolved a little bit, and then we have 2010 activity arise on the market. It's more interesting tool with much more possibilities rather than GBPM at that point in time. But actually it was more like a tool for the vendor of the activity, and the evolution was not so fast as it is expected. And in 2013, Camunda has produced Camunda Platform 7, which is mainly focuses on business process automation and gives the big step forward, starting providing the functionality to fully automate what the BPMN standard offers us. And Camunda 7 actually has a great success on the market. There are a lot of installations, a lot of companies who are using Camunda in version 7. Also, Camunda 7 offers two main packages. It was enterprise-like for big companies with the licensing, and also it was a big bunch of companies, I think mostly small companies, and especially maybe even in Eastern Europe, using Camunda 7 like a community edition, which is fully free of charge, and you can do whatever you want. Camunda 7 was also open source. You can really extend it and use as you want. If you're a Java expert, it's really a big fun for many Java developers just to start using it and play around and make good things with Camunda 7. But IT evolves, and nowadays we see that most of the companies, even big enterprises, are moving towards cloud-based solutions, software as a service, and Camunda has to respond on these market movements. And in 2021, it was the first Camunda Cloud appearance, and now starting with 2022, we have a new version of a Camunda, which is Camunda 8. Which is a new player, and everything what we had in Camunda 7, take all the best out of it, and all the new technologies which appeared since 2013. You can see that more or less 10 years has been passed, and a lot of things has been changed in the world of the IT. Let's talk a little bit about what can attract us in Camunda 8, what are main features or differences to compare with the Camunda 7. As I already mentioned, the main idea behind Camunda 8 is a software as a service movement. As many organizations are moving to this model, providing software, it's a good to move also to this area and support the organization in their movement into the software as a service area as it is. And Camunda 8 actually does not limit us to use SaaS platform. It also, another version, it's called self-managed, that you can just really download the same package and install it in your own hardware and host it yourself, but the architecture and components are really the same, but the only difference is who is responsible to manage the infrastructure in the environment. The next option is optimization out of the box. When we worked with the Camunda 7, we had optimized module, which was available only for enterprise customers under the license restrictions. And usually it's a separate model which has to be deployed separately, and you can really go deep into that story. Coming to Camunda 8, Optimizer is a standard module which is out of the box, and you can start using just immediately when you install or start using Camunda 8 as a SaaS platform. This is a big difference. The next is that is Camunda ZB engine. Camunda 8 is not just evolution of Camunda. It's really a more revolution, let me say, because it's really a new engine. It's not an enhancement. It's really a new implementation. And the core of Camunda 8 is a ZB, which has been created with cloud-oriented and microservice-oriented architecture in mind, with the speed we can get when we're using cloud implementation, and take all the advantages of the cloud infrastructure, like scalability and security underneath, and possibility to make changes to to increase the capability of your environment, adding new nodes to your environment, and really scale without any big problems. ZB itself is based on the external task pattern, which has been introduced in Camunda 7 a few years ago. And this pattern also leads to a better performance because you are not blocking the engine with this pattern. And also you are delegating some code outside of Camunda itself, making it more secure and less vulnerable for different attacks from outside. And also, when we are talking about Camunda 8 and when we are in a SaaS platform that you can really use all these functionalities which usually cloud provides us. The next option is polyglot architecture. Camunda 8 is more cloud-oriented and microservice-oriented. In this way, a lot of different things around those external tasks can be implemented as separate technical modules, and different teams can do this, and really each team can select the technology or stack which is known to them, where they have skills, and it could be Java, it could be Python, it could be Ruby even. There are really a lot of different possibilities you can use. And if we're talking about microservice approach, this means that you can really have a modular application with better rollout possibilities and changes, not taking also the whole application, but to change them step by step or module by module. The next great movement for the Camunda 8 is a change in the expression language we are using to make conditions in the application. Camunda 7 was based on a so-called dual Java expression language, and Camunda 8 is fully based on friendly enough expression language, which is Phil, which is a better scripting language we can use. It's more simple, it's more natural language-like, and it's much easier for non-technical people to learn and to start writing different conditions and scripts using Phil rather than dual. Camunda 8 as Camunda 7 also support a multi-tenancy. Currently it is available mostly for self-management version, not for cloud one. Having this feature is really quite easy to start using the same cluster for the different teams, for different departments, saving the cost because you're using the same cluster but separating their processes, their data, their models, that each team, each department uses their own part of a Camunda. And Camunda also provides quite good management for the access rights, just to not to expose information from one tenant to another tenant. The next big innovation for Camunda 8 is introduction of a web modeler, which is now a part of the Camunda 8 itself, which brings the collaboration between teams and between IT and business to the new level. Because with this instrument, which is web-based and part of the whole platform, you can bring together on the same platform different teams, IT and business all together to start communicating. Web modeler provides you a chance to share the models between teams, between people, brings the business to this cycle, to put the comments and really collaborate remotely to make really good stuff and make a proper modeling of your processes. It was also to mention that 10 years passed from start when Camunda 7 appeared on the market, and during this time a lot of changes were did in the IT, a lot of new technologies appeared, and Camunda 8 is really based on more interesting and more modern technologies. Just to mention that it is cloud-oriented, it's containerized, it's based on the Kubernetes, it uses Elasticsearch, it uses Keycloak for security management, and it's really what is currently most of the IT companies using in the modern projects. We spoke already a little bit about web modeler. Another option what web modeler brings us, it's this flexibility, because the whole infrastructure around Camunda 8, all the interfaces we are communicating are web-based. This means that moving out of desktop modeler to the web modeler gives us a better user experience. We are working more in the same environment, in the same way with all the parts of the application of the platform. Bringing Camunda 8, it also brings back building of center of excellence in companies. And with Camunda 8, it becomes really a little bit more easier to control this. And now when we're talking about center of excellence, by the way, it will be a new book which is provided by Camunda, where there is additional topic about center of excellence, and it was an interesting topic also on the CamundaCon conference in Berlin about this topic. And the main idea is that currently in the IT there is a big dispute. What is good, centralized or decentralized control of everything? And with center of excellence, it could be some source on you that it's some kind of centralization, while most of the teams are doing the decentralization. And here we need really to find a balance. That means that with center of excellence is more important in the area that it provides some guidance, some tooling, and that everywhere we use the same version of application, or we use the same license, or provide some best practices and help the teams to learn and educate how to use the tools, and ensure that everything is using in the organization in the same way. On the other side, the teams themselves are fully decentralized. They can work on their own and doing the implementation and business as they want. And the next, but not I think the last advantage of Camunda 8 platform is a new way how we integrate Camunda 8 with external worlds. Is a new connectors feature. Camunda 8 provides really a lot of different connectors. There is a marketplace where you can find those connectors, simplifying and making it much more faster to create processes based on already pre-created, pre-built connectors, which helps you to integrate your application with other applications which can be available in your IT landscape. Now let's speak a little bit about Camunda 7. As Tommaso told a little bit already also on this topic, but more details for you to understand what is about Camunda 7 currently, when we have this interesting tool like Camunda 8. Camunda already officially told about the end of life, and the timeline will look something like this, that in October 2025 there will be the last release, where we're expecting some additional new features for the Camunda 7 platform. And then we will have only the support and some security patches available for the Camunda 7. For the most customers, in April 2007, the Camunda 7 will be finished. And only for some enterprise customers, it will be a possibility to extend the support until the April 2030. And after April 2030, it will be full end of life, no any support, no any patches to the Camunda 7 in general. That is why there is an interesting question: what need to do? Yes, 2030 is, from current perspective, maybe it's too far from today, but also we know that Camunda 7 is very widely used and what we want to do. And now we need to start speaking with the business, with organizations, how to migrate to Camunda 8, which is a new platform and the new branding tool which is available in the Camunda. What Camunda 8 brings the organizations, how it helps us to streamline the processes, how it helps to save the cost and enhance our customer experience working with the Camunda infrastructure. What Camunda 8 brings to us? First, it's a solution acceleration. Camunda 8 provides some new features, branding features, which differs it from Camunda 7. First of all, Camunda 8 start bringing some low-code features that you can really create first application based on Camunda much faster and easier comparing to the Camunda 7, and having some low-code features. You really can do it without deep knowledge, without involving really hard code developers, and start your experience with the platform much faster. Also, having the connectors on the market, we can accelerate our development really much, because everything is already available for you. You just need to use this connector to put some attributes. We will discuss a little bit more about connectors later by today. And really it simplifies and speed up, accelerate our implementation of new processes. Having a new web modeler, we already discussed a little bit, also allow us to unify our communication with, between business and IT, giving us new opportunities to collaborate, to understand each other, and to also respond to the current market remote mode of working in the post-COVID time. It's really a lot of people working remote. If we talk about Camunda itself, if they even have closed their office. They are fully remote company now. And many companies also, after the COVID time, could not gather all the people on the same table. And a lot of people are working remotely. And with this web model, we really can bring all the people on the same table, start doing the business. Another interesting option for Camunda 8 is that Camunda 8 brings AI as a strategic line for themselves. There are different scenarios how we can incorporate AI into the process orchestration. We can start with very, very simple scenarios when we are starting using connectors to AI tools available on the market, just calling them via connectors and start using maybe just, for example, ChatGPT or whatever. Also, we have to understand that AI is not a simple tool which gives us the possibility to create marketing text. It's even much, much more powerful and can give us much more insights, and can be used to, we can bring it to our business processes, which will really enhance our possibilities and make our processes better. Other options that Camunda provides is usage of AI on the design phase. Camunda currently already deployed AI tooling on their website. Let's call AI chatbot, where you can ask questions about the Camunda, about the implementation, and not to scan all the documentation available. You just ask a chatbot and a simple question, and if there is an answer in the documentation file, you will get a response immediately, like you are discussing with the ChatGPT instead. Another options which Camunda 8 already has and will provide more is that when we are starting modeling, it is possible to use AI to suggest you best practices, best connector which fits to your purpose. You just put the name of a function you want to do, for example, send a mail, and Camunda tell you, okay, you send grid connector. It's the best fit for your task. It's really quite amazing. And Camunda also think about providing AI tooling around optimization, optimizes that. Having different models, ML modules, we can start analyze the data we are producing during execution, and based on this, AI may provide you insights how you can improve your process, where the bottlenecks of your processes. It's also quite amazing feature we can start using in Camunda 8, and as I told, Camunda 8 really looks to the AI innovations and bring it into the stand. And having Camunda 8 with all these features before really helps us to move forward faster, to make it in a more agile way, because it's really a microservice based. Different teams can do their jobs and small tasks and make a rapid rollout. You can really deliver new features or change the features independently based on the microservice architecture and getting the value much faster to the market than it was before. Having SaaS platforms behind also gives us a big opportunities to grow, to reply to the business requirements, unlocking the potential of a business and speeding up our development in a good way. And now what we have about this migration. Actually, Camunda already thought about us and provided a methodology which we can follow to have a success on the migration phase. There are 6 main phases we will discuss a little bit now, and how we are guiding from the Camunda 7 to Camunda 8. Oh, I'm speaking too long. Okay, first it's evaluation. We really have to think about what Camunda 8 features bring to us, what we are doing, and what it will bring us to as a business, and make a decision whether we need to go to Camunda 8, what we are currently having on the table. And at this point, it is recommended to create some small POC or hackathon inside the organization just to familiarize the team with what Camunda 8 is and how it works, and get the first experience. Then we move to the scope definition. It's very also crucial step where we are looking how we can migrate, what we are migrating, what skills are still needed for us, if Camunda 8 fully supports our requirements, because we're currently only 2 years on the market with the Camunda 8. It's still not the same in feature set like Camunda 7. But with the latest release this year in spring, it brought a lot of new features which bringing Camunda 8 much closer to Camunda 7 feature set. And there are a lot of promising features to be released with 8.6 this autumn, bringing us even more features. And the expectation is with that next release we will be more or less the same what we had in Camunda 7 for making our implementations. Also, community already has some tooling which can help us to analyze our artifacts and diagrams to understand what an impact will be if we start this journey to migrate to Camunda 8. Then we are going to plan. It's really crucial to have a plan in place where we are discussing about actual steps we need to do and how we are going to do it, and to ensure that everything what we need, resources, time, and sure budget is available for us to do a right thing in a right point in time. Then it is a platform setup step where we need to analyze how we are using Camunda 7 currently and what policies we have in our organization to make a right choice between 2 options. Either it's SaaS platform or it's self-managed. For main industries where Camunda is working on, like insurance or banking, there are a lot of restrictions and not all the data can be exposed out of the organization. In this case, it's better to use a self-managed. We just have a full control. But maybe for a small business or public sector which doesn't have their own data centers, it will be better to use a SaaS platforms as is. And then we are doing the actual migration. On the actual migration step, it is also quite important to look into what we have and not to migrate as is. It's a good point in time when you can look into your processes and decide what you need and maybe what you can enhance and change, what was not so critical for your business before, but now you have a chance. And also the next question you have to answer yourself is how you are doing the migration and how long the C7 will be still alive in your environment. And we'll talk a little bit about this. And then you are doing the run of your Camunda 8 environment, you are looking how it works, and you start using the best practices for analyzing your processes, getting the data out of your Camunda 8, and so on. I will start a little bit briefly to discuss the main differences. We mostly discussed most of them, but to stress some key points. First of all, Camunda 8 is purely remote. In Camunda 7 it was a possibility to have an embedded engine, to have everything under the umbrella of Java. Now it's fully remote mode of implementation. Differences in data types. In Camunda 7 it was possible to use even serialized Java objects, but Camunda 8 is fully JSON based, and you have to think about it during the migration phase. About expression language we have already told a little bit. Camunda 7 is a dual, Camunda 8 is fill, and you need to migrate it, and it's really very simple actually. Connectors. In Camunda 7 we had only 2 connectors, HTTP and SOAP. And now we have plenty of them. And we will discuss connectors a little bit more today in the next sessions. Also we have differences in the deployments. In Camunda 7 it was mostly a Spring Boot application where you have your code, web apps, and everything about Camunda, and separately you had a database, Elasticsearch and Optimize. With Camunda 8 you have a remote Camunda platform with the Camunda broker, and your own application is just your custom code with a ZB client, which can communicate with a remote server. What you have to think about when you are migrating? There are 2 main areas we have to discuss. It's data and artifacts you have. Let's start with artifacts we are having. First of all is BPMN models. You have to look into your models, analyze them, and migrate to the new version. You have to pay attention that the new attributes are appearing in Camunda 8, and also in Camunda 8 currently have a different coverage of a BPMN standard. Daemon is very easy to migrate because the standard more or less the same, and there are not a lot of differences. Application code, it's different. As I told that now we are talking about remote engine all the time, and you really need to adjust your application to this mode. And the same about the architecture. New API is introduced. Moreover, internally Camunda 7 is using gRPC protocol, which is different to the rest one. And about the data. The history data is very simple. We are not migrating history. But with the runtime data you have different options, because you can either continue using Camunda 7 and keep the processes to complete on the Camunda 7 and then start using Camunda 8, or you can think about some migration. But there is a issue here is that Camunda 7 is based on database. You have to extract the data and then create a tool which will create the new processes in Camunda 8 environment and bring this process to the same state as it was in Camunda 7. And the main idea for the migration is to coexist Camunda 7 and Camunda 8. You start with Camunda 8, like POC, maybe new processes, and then you are migrating existing processes to the Camunda 8, and with Camunda you have a possibility to react on the errors, to analyze how it works, and successfully migrate and then stop the Camunda 7. I think that I will go to the last slide. Just the main issue what we are facing where we are migrating Camunda 7 towards Camunda 8 is education of the team. If you know about Camunda 8 enough and know how it works, you are on a good way. If you don't know how it works, the most potentially you will have issues. How you can educate yourself about the Camunda 8? Actually, you have different options. First of all, really you can read just documentation which provided by the Camunda itself on their website. Also, there are a lot of community workshops or whatever where you can participate and learn about the Camunda. If you're an enterprise customer, you also have an option with consulting hours provided by the Camunda itself. There is also a good source for knowledge, for information about Camunda is Camunda Academy. It also has 2 different sets of information provided. It's a common academy view where just anybody can use, or it's a partner or customer account where you have even extended information about Camunda. And the last point, which is really quite important, you can speed up your introduction to Camunda 8 and come to the big success going to the Camunda partner and start this journey with Camunda partner, for example, IBA Group.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
We have time for questions?
Yeah, we have time for questions.
We have a couple, like 5 or 7 minutes for the questions.
Can I?
Yeah, for sure.
Hello, my name is Igor, and thank you for the speech, and thank you guys for organizing this event. And I have a question about the cloud approach of Camunda. Basically, we had a deployed version before which we can install on the server. Right now, ZB is a client which helps us to communicate with the platform. So what data is passed through gRPC protocol to the servers of Camunda? Do we just let the servers know about the processes we started and we manage all the data on our servers? Or we should integrate deeper?
It really depends. I think the answer will be more or less the same for both versions, Camunda 7 and Camunda 8. It's the main idea behind the process orchestration that you have to pass to the Camunda only that data which influence the process execution. The process shouldn't be a storage of the data. You store the data locally and just give only that information. You really need to execute the process.
And one more question about the cloud. I don't know. One more question about the cloud. Do we use, basically, as I understand, ZB is already connector, kind of our system connects our system to Camunda servers. And when we talk about SaaS solution, about implementing cloud solution, so we just send data, details about the processes through gRPC and that's all. And then we are allowed to track all the processes and manage and get analytics and etc.
Let me say first some terms. ZB is a core engine of the Camunda itself. When we are communicating, we are using ZB client, so-called. It's just a library we can just use in our application, and it communicates via gRPC protocol with the engine itself. And it defined by the protocol operates like start a process, send a message. It's really very simple, and the payload for all this operation is defined by design of the application and the design of your process. You can select that your process holding the data itself, but it requires more resources to keep the information about the history and analytics of it. On the other side, when we are working with the processes, you really should collect information about its execution and performance, and it's not about the business-related data you have in your application, actually. And Camunda 8 puts this information to the Elasticsearch, and Elasticsearch afterwards is used by Optimize to make all the analytics you have. And it's really easy tool, very straightforward. You can create different dashboards to find the KPIs of your process. It's really fun to use it.
Thank you.
I actually had a question about the monitoring.
About the same, yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have the picture, but we can.
Yes,
you can go to the documentation.
You don't know about my questions. So let me also ask one question, and then we will proceed. You said Camunda provides easy way to collaborate between IT and business. Good. Have you personally experienced it?
Yes, for sure. My professional history is quite interesting. I'm coming from the development, moving to the business analysis. I've really faced with a lot of stuff, and as a project manager, it was quite interesting to communicate with the customer as a business analyst, making decisions and then go to the developers and telling them what they need to do. And it's really amazing story when you are speaking with the business in business terms, for example, with banks, and then you need to tell the developer what to do. You can't tell the same thing. But when you're starting doing these diagrams, writing them down, it's more like squares and arrows, and it's very simple for the developer to start understanding what they are doing. And what I have also mentioned that when we did only textual description of tasks for developers, the developers just tell, okay, I'm doing the small code, and they do not understand why they are doing their coding. Having the diagrams is really very easy to understand them, at least high level, what they are doing, for what they are doing this coding, and giving them really fun in their job.
Thank you. I had one more question, but unfortunately for you, Alexei, we have to give the floor to Mikhail, because he will talk about the CamundaCon. So thank you very much. Let's thank Alexei for doing a great presentation. I hope we will see him one more time again.
Yeah. Thank you.
So let's give a floor to Mikhail, partner director of Camunda, and he will be talking about what has happened last month in May in Berlin at CamundaCon. Because I was not there, so it would be very much interesting for me to listen, so and for any other guys. And I will have a question to Mikhail at the end, why I should be there next year. Thank you.
Thanks for welcoming me. Hello, everyone. I'm Michael Levant from Camunda. I'm the partner manager here, and I joined Camunda like 4 years ago or something. And in the second month of me being at Camunda, I met Alex Burak at a conference in Amsterdam, I believe. And yeah, then the partnership started. So yeah, that's how fast it can go. And since then, we have a tight collaboration with IBA Group. And yeah, thanks for welcoming us, Tommaso and myself, to present and to show you some takeaways and some summaries of stories from CamundaCon, which we had, as you said, last month in Berlin. So let me jump to the next slide. CamundaCon, for those of you who don't know, that's the process orchestration conference. It's an event organized by Camunda, where we host our clients, our users, our partners. We host both technical people and also business-oriented people. This year's CamundaCon in Berlin was the biggest ever. We had almost 700 people joining on site at a cool location in Berlin. And there were over 1,000 people joining virtually. So yeah, as Alex said, we are also experimenting, and after COVID, that seems to be the choice for all types of events, like the one we are having today, combining the physical world with virtual world. Yeah, and that works pretty well. The event itself was well packed with different topics, with lots of presentations. We had over 46 sessions. Some of them were more technical, some of them more business oriented. We even had some hackathon before the event itself, and it lasted for the whole 2 full days. Very long days, very fun days, exhausting and exciting at the same time. And to give you some sneak peek of how it looked like, I'll jump to the next slide where you will see the venue. You can also see our founders, the co-founders of Camunda, Bernd and Jacob, giving their keynote presentations. So trying to get you excited to maybe participate next time in person or at least virtually. And some more pictures even. We talked about the book. I believe Alexei mentioned it. That's a new release, should be available on Amazon right now. People got a chance to get it signed by the author, by our co-founder Bernd. You can recognize some faces here. Of course, our friends and partners from IBA Group were there. Thanks for attending. Maybe another face which you do not know yet. That's Magdalena, right here in the middle. She's our customer success manager for Camunda. She's a Polish speaker, so yeah. We also have Polish speakers here, and if you want to talk to us in Polish, the only thing you need to do is to get the license. Just joking, yeah. Let's move on. As I said, there were plenty of presentations and topics. We had speakers from banking, we had speakers from insurance, telco, and some other industries. And it was very hard for me to pick the one which I'm going to share right now, and then I went for the local factor. Since we had ING leads from Poland on stage presenting also with a partner of ours, I said maybe it could be interesting for you to see what results a Polish company, it's an international company of course, but in this case it's ING Lease Polska, which you probably know. Which results I could achieve in less than a year. Yeah, we talked about many positive things that Camunda provide, but it's hearing it from a vendor or from a partner provides a specific flavor, and hearing it from a user, adds a credibility to it. So just go through the bullet points. I will emphasize on just two of those. Better overview of process execution makes life of IT easier. Yeah, that's what we tend to do. Camunda is supposed to make your lives and life, not just of IT, but also business users easier. We aim to provide more visibility. We want to reduce the complexity, and hearing it from a client like ING Lease, that's music to our ears. And also, we talked about management process. I believe there was a question to Tommaso how easy it is to actually change the process if there are some updates in jurisdiction. That's the answer you get directly from ING. Easier change management process, that's what it is about. Going further, some key takeaways which were presented by ING Lease. Interestingly enough, the first point is about connectors, and we talked about connectors a lot. So it simplifies, it makes your life easier again, and it makes modeling extremely approachable. So you don't have to be a high scale black belt developer to get into the process and to implement it. Another point I'd like to emphasize coming from ING is that good overview of process execution is making business and technology decisions better, faster, easier, and better. And last one I'd like to mention is an old saying, trust but verify. That's what ING is suggesting us. So keeping the knowledge within your organization and not giving it to the hand of some third party is a good advice from ING. I'll leave it at that, but you will have the chance to go through the full recording of the presentation if you're interested, as well as you also have the chance to review all other topics and presentations that were covered at CamundaCon. Now moving to some more specific details, and that is also a question that came up earlier, and also Alexei mentioned it on his slide. That's a question of what's next? How is Camunda going to evolve, and what will happen to Camunda 7 Community Edition? Well, the answer is straightforward. We will end of life Camunda Community Edition. It's important to distinguish between CE, standing for Community Edition, and EE, the Enterprise Edition. So October 2025, that's a bit longer than a year from now. We will end of life the version 7 of Community Edition, and the choices are, or the options that we offer is either to get an enterprise subscription, which will give you a bit more time till 2027, and then you can even extend it to 2030 with some additional fees. But the message here is this is the time to get to start thinking of what are the options, because it is the right time to come up with a migration plan, and we have partners and resources like IBA Group, of course, which can support you with that. So there is some time, no panic, but you need to start thinking of how to keep using Camunda in the future if you are on Camunda version 7 Community Edition as of today. Another update I'd like to share is on the recent and current version of Camunda version 8, self-managed. And there was a question if Camunda is open source or if it will be open source. I believe, Alex, you asked that question to Tommaso. And same here, it's above my pay grade to answer such questions. But what I can say, maybe a bit provocatively, is like because in October this year, Camunda will get even more open source. It will get open source. More open source as ever, if you could say. And what I mean with that is that proprietary components operate task list, optimize, and identity. For those, we will open the source code. Yeah. Of course, you need to consider that it will be available for usage for development only. So it will stay free of charge for development only. However, going into production would require a license, and that's a topic you should be aware of. By the way, you have the links to official source of that publication. So if you want to deep dive into some details here on the right-hand side, just click it, and I'm sure we will share the slides after the event. Going further, yeah, I already mentioned that all the sessions at CamundaCon were recorded. So yeah, that's where you can find them and go through the IBA list presentation, but also through some other ones. If you're interested, I can only encourage you to do that. And if you got excited and can't wait to join the next CamundaCon and asking yourself how to do it, yeah, that's a link. And even better, you can be one of the speakers at CamundaCon stage, which is happening in New York this year, yeah, middle of October. I encourage you to hand in or submit your proposals for a presentation. Should your proposal be selected, Camunda will cover all the travel and accommodation costs for that. So also a good chance to visit New York. So yeah, feel free to submit your presentations. And yeah, the next CamundaCon after New York will be in 2025 in Amsterdam. So yeah, that's also a good place for us to meet maybe next time in person. Yeah, finishing my presentation, my short presentation, I would like to thank our partner IBA Group for hosting this event, and also for the long-term and successful partnership that we are having since, yeah, what is it, like 4 years now? Yeah, we doubled down on our partnership last year, where IBA certified and got their technical people, and Alexei Bolotin is one of them, trained and certified on Camunda. We also see some good results and success, yeah, success stories coming from our joint customers. So again, if you are now looking at Camunda 7 to 8 migration, IBA Group should be your first point of touch. Of course, Tommaso and myself are here available for you as well. But yeah, don't hesitate to reach out to our partner IBA for some help. And that's all I had to share for today. Happy to take some questions.
Appreciate. Yes, and thank you for answering about the open source plans. Really interesting. Getting back to CamundaCon and the plans for CamundaCon. So why our customers have to share their ideas at CamundaCon? Why they have to apply, to speak? Why?
Yeah, well, that's a great, this is the process orchestration conference. So if you're into that business, and if you want to get in touch with the people who are considered experts, people who are using our software for some time now, people who can share their experience, share their knowledge, that's the party you should join. Yeah, that's a place to be. So I can only encourage you to apply, despite of the fact that it's also a good atmosphere and some good drinks and good food at the end. Joking.
Thank you. Again, maybe going to the CamundaCon. So it has always keynote, right? And founders speak about the future of a process orchestration. So maybe based on your understanding of the future, what you can outline as something that should be prioritized, like.
Wow, that's an interesting question. Yeah. Well, priority for Camunda is always the customer success. Yeah, we focus on what's important for our customers. We keep in touch. I mentioned Magdalena, who is our CSM, customer success manager, and every customer of Camunda is having the support of a CSM. So we want to be involved in your success and want to play a major part in your success. So I believe what will never change in terms of CamundaCon, it will be customer oriented, and we will try to bring the more useful content so our users and our customers as well as partners can exchange it within themselves and can benefit to the maximum.
Thank you. Then maybe every conference or every event ends with feedback from participants. What was I would say, the most common feedback from the CamundaCon at Berlin?
Well, most common feedback, at least the feedback that I got personally, I didn't have a chance to go through the official feedback ratings. It should be available somewhere, but I just don't have the information yet. So I can speak for myself, especially speaking to partners. I think everyone was super excited about the level of transparency that not just Camunda, but also our users and our customers, our partners were sharing. Some partners and customers were sharing quite early stage projects, where they just went to production a few months ago. And that shows huge level of trust and confidence in the product. So overall, very positive feedback, I would say. My personal suggestion to the team was that we make the location even bigger, because unfortunately not everyone who was willing to join could get a chance to be on site. So that's also one of the reasons why the next European CamundaCon will be in Amsterdam, where we will have a much bigger location. So we will have capacity hopefully for everyone who is willing to join in person.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael. And now I think it's time to prepare for the next speech. And of course, before the next speech, we will have the coffee break. So, thank you, Michael. Hope to see you next time in person. And
thanks for having me. Really appreciate your support.
Yeah. So after the coffee break, we will be like in about 12:10. So in about 35 minutes, we will have Alexei at stage. 30 minutes. We will have Alexei at stage, who will talk about integrations. That's the topic that we are actively discussing and Camunda guys are talking about. So please, for those of you who are inside, there is a coffee stage and the snacks outside. Please feel free to grab a coffee. For those of you who are online, please don't forget to get back online in 30 minutes. We will be waiting for you. Thank you. So welcome back, and let's give the floor to Alexei. But I would like to thank you, before Alexei will join, I would like to thank everyone who is joining back or who is rejoining. So now things will be a little bit more technical, and maybe for some of the guys not that interesting. So Alexei, please, here's your floor. Start talking about the integrations and connectors. Thank you.
Thank you to all of you. Welcome back. This is the second time I am just in front of you. I think that there is no need to do a lot of self-presentations. And let's go a little bit deep to what we are going to discuss about the integrations. As we discussed already on our previous talk, that Camunda 8, one of the main of its feature is integration with help of connectors, and let's deep dive into this area a little bit with the next presentation. First of all, let's see what this process orchestration is and how it works. In most cases, for organization we are doing the process orchestration, we need to orchestrate different types of work to be done to reach our business goal. What we can have potentially, we can have human tasks, for example, and when we have people in our processes, we usually need to somehow notify them about that they have the task. We can send email, or it could be a message in a Slack or a Microsoft Teams, whatever we can imagine. Or we can go to the microservices where we're orchestrating microservices. In this case, we have to either to listen some events that microservices producing and react on these events in our processes to continue the execution, or we have to notify those microservices about something what has been happened in our process, and to make a business logic flow and to make microservices to do the job. Also, in the current organization environments, we could have potentially RPA installed, which is about more or less task automation, and simple tasks are done by RPA, and then we are going to orchestrate them. Or even we can talk about different IoT devices which have to be orchestrated via the messages as well. And at this point, we tell that we need to integrate Camunda with all this stuff, and telling that there is a really big diversity of different endpoints and different types of endpoints we have to orchestrate. And here, connectors are the main player in the Camunda 8 environment. What is actually Camunda in general? We can say that connector is a reusable building block which performs the integration and communication with an external system, which we can easily use in our diagrams. We just put an activity into the schema, provides some details about how it has to be executed. And what is really important at this point in time is that the process developer or business analyst who is creating the process actually shouldn't know about the actual business logic behind how the communication goes on. It just puts the rectangle on his schema, provides some simple attributes, how to control the execution, and he doesn't care how it is performed in actual from the code perspective. If to go a little bit more deep into the connector and to say how it is built, how it is constructed, actually connector consists of two main parts. First part is the actual coding. Currently it is a Java application where we implement the actual business logic, how the connector communicates with external system, how it goes via the API, security, or whatever, and we are hiding this information from the business perspective, from the business users. And the second part of this pattern is a modular UI or element called element template, which helps us to visualize the parameters or connector itself on our business process schema. when you just put this rectangle, then you can go to the right panel on the right side, and you see the visual representation of the parameters you have to enter. And further in our presentation, we will just look a little bit closer to how it looks like. When we're talking about the connectors, we have to divide them in two big groups. And it will also depend how we communicate. First, it's inbound and outbound connectors, and they behave a little bit differently. As we discussed previously about different scenarios, when we have to notify an external system about something what has been happening in our process, this is an outbound. It's really very simple. We have an API which is provided by a third-party system, and we just call it. Inbound is a little bit more complex. There are different patterns how we can communicate with external systems. And we should understand that as a process developer, we in most cases can't influence on the third-party system how they provide API to us. We have to use what it is. And the three main patterns which can be used for inbound connectors are webhooks. In this case, we just provide an endpoint on our side, on the process side, which can be called by the external system in case if something has been happened there, and then Camunda infrastructure correlates it to a right process instance and gives this message to the process to be executed. Or it could be a subscription model, which we are quite familiar in the area of Kafka, that there is a topic, we're subscribing to it, and if something has happened, we're just getting the information about this and can also react on this message. And the last one is a pooling mechanism where a third-party system does not provide active communication, but there is an endpoint which we are calling on a regular basis, asking if there is something new, something has been changed there, and if something has been changed, then we can react from the process side. Why connectors are useful for us? First of all, it's a reduction of time. Having already out of the box a big list of connectors, we're reducing the development time. Somebody, Camunda partner, community, or whoever, has provided us already with the building block. We just take it and started using. It's really reducing heavily the time we need to come to the market with a new implementation of a process. And even if there is no such a connector, it's quite easy to build it. On the right side, you can see a developer-friendly feature of connectors. Camunda already provides SDK, which helps you to create those new connectors. And developer having this SDK shouldn't care about to go dive into the actual Camunda implementation itself, how core it behaves. It uses just SDK, can concentrate fully on the implementation of a communication business logic, local testing, and then this component can be reused over different environments. And as we discussed a little bit about those connectors, it's really make it much easier to make the integration. You really don't need to go deep into the communication, how you have to work with external system, what is an API it provides, what is the data structure or sequence of messages or calls to APIs you have to do, what is the type of the security and so on. You just reuse those building blocks already available for you. And depending on the direction of communication, either it's inbound or outbound, you will select just a proper activity type. It could be a message throw event in case of outbound, for example, communication, or catch event in case if we are talking about some inbound communication. And how we can find the right connector for us? Camunda already thought about it, and recently they raised a new part of their ecosystem. It's Camunda Marketplace, where all the connectors currently available are gathered all together. You can go to the marketplace on the web, navigate, look for any connector you are interested in. There are some filter options just to find the right one. You can just look, think how it can be used, and download it or follow some instructions Camunda provides it, because installation of a connector a little bit different depending on the mode you are working. It's a SaaS platform or it's a self-managed platform. All the instructions are usually available on the connector website, and you can easily start using it. What I want to say here also is that connectors could be provided by the Camunda itself. It's a more basic and more, I think, oftenly used connectors which Camunda sees from their experience communicating with their customers. Also, the partner is an ability to post their connectors they have created during their work with Camunda, if they think that this connector could be useful for their other customers or whoever. And also the community itself can suggest new connectors and provide the implementation that you can find here. And for each connector there is a tag on the bottom where you can identify and find who is an author of it. And most of the connectors are really open source. When you are publishing the connector, there is usually a link just to the GitHub code, and you can do whatever you want. Just to show how many different connectors could be and diversity of connectors available in the actual Camunda 8 ecosystem, you can see the different areas where you can find connectors. It could be cloud computing, something like Kafka, AWS, Lambda functions, or it could be the area of automation products like RPA tools, which is quite popular currently on the market, or it could be integration with enterprise level systems, something like CRMs or ERP systems. It could be integration with document management systems like Google Drive or a Box, or it could be a collaboration tool, sending emails via SendGrid, for example, or some messaging into the different messaging systems. It could be integration also with data analytics tools like BI or data lakes or whatever. And there is also a layer of more technical connectors like REST connector, GraphQL connector, where we are going to just on the protocol level. But the marketplace is a little bit more than just a collection of connectors available currently on the market. The next option is via the marketplace you can submit a new connector. There is a very straightforward and simple instruction how to do it, what you need to provide to publish a new connector. And due to this functionality, the ecosystem of connectors is really growing up quite rapidly. A new connectors appears. And a next option is that you can not provide an actual connector, you can post an idea about the connector you need. If you don't have enough skills or possibilities to implement, you can just post an idea which connector can be useful and required. There is some kind of like system. So many more people like this idea, more likely this connector will be implemented in a short time frame. Recently, Camunda also extended connector ecosystem with a certification program. This means that they go to analyze your code, your connector more thoroughly, also check it for additional vulnerabilities, and the connector is moving from your source code system, from your GitHub account to the Camunda. And Camunda also start verifying compliance with the new releases. It's more reliable, let me say, connector, and it gets additional label on it. And from the Camunda marketplace, after you have published your own connector, you can apply also for the certification. And the next option, which is provided by the Camunda marketplace, it's a new area which is growing up currently, is the process blueprints. It's more or less similar in the idea with the connectors, that is a catalog of blueprints, and also Camunda itself doing these blueprints, or some partners or community can post additional blueprints. The main idea behind the blueprints is that you can start sharing with examples of your processes, and it could be just a simple solution of an issue you have been facing in your project. Let me say, for example, for ICE principle in the approval, you can have a nice idea, you can put this blueprint and all others can find it and start using in their processes out of the box, not thinking about how to do it themselves. Or it could be examples how to use other connectors. Currently you can find some blueprint provided by Camunda, how you can use, for example, AI, chatbots or whatever. It's just more like examples, but it's a start point for you to start using Camunda and be familiarized with the functionality it provides you. In our presentation about the connectors, I've showed that it's really a big plenty of information and possibilities to integrate. We as a partner have developed already a connector which is available also in the marketplace, and this connector is about connecting with EasyRPA tool. And now I just want to briefly tell you about this tool a little bit and why we have selected it. And in the next session you will even see a little bit it's in real life, more in demo mode. What is EasyRPA? EasyRPA is a product which has been developed by our company, and this is enterprise class platform in the area of robotic process automation, which you can find also on our website and be familiarized more about this tool. Just first simple facts about it. It's also a tool which is based on the quite modern technologies, allowing containerization and high scalability of it. It provides a good functionality for the robot monitoring and auditing, that you can find a lot of information how your system behaves, perform the health checks, and understand how it's going on and react in case of any issues which can be found in the platform. Out of the box, the platform also provides OCR engine and machine learning, which really can help you to start with automatization of document processing, that you can start analyzing documents, classify them, extract the data them, and then to use it in your processes. For sure, it's a classic implementation of RPAs when you just automate the human tasks, and also it provides so-called human-in-the-loop automation. That means that if the human still is needed to make a decision, the platform also allows you to include the human into the loop. And about our connector, how we use it and how it looks like from the perspective of a process developer and analyst. When you start your process, you just put, let me say, the rectangle on the canvas, and when you are clicking by mouse on this rectangle, you have an option how to select the type of your rectangle, what activity, and Camunda also suggests you the list of possible elements, change elements you can apply to this activity, and in this list you will get, in our case, it's EasyRPA connector, and you can select. And this is more or less similar to any connector we are going to use. And as I've told previously, with AI functionality, it even now you can get some suggestions by the Camunda, which connector will be more useful for you. After you have selected EasyRPA connector to be applied as an element type for you, you can see the changes on the properties panel on the right side of your canvas, your web modeler. You see this marker, that template applied, and you can just change the type, for example, or look which type you have selected, and also you see that some additional attributes have appeared on the panel. First, it's authentication. You just can provide the information how you are going to authenticate. Authenticate the user with EasyRPA. Usually we are doing with some technical user or API key provided by the platform itself. And in the bottom you have a list of action operations which is available for our connector or connector you have selected. And depending on the operation you select, also the panel adjusted to provide you a right attributes which are required to perform this operation depending on your selection. It's really quite easy and simple to be implemented. Our connector currently provides 4 main operations, and potentially it could be extended. If you already have your connector, it's not so difficult to extend it with a new functionality. The main operation for us and for this easy RPA connector is a start process, when you are just initiating the RPA robot, queuing into the platforms, that's informing that you need to do some job. You just provide the ID or the name of the robot you want to execute, and back you are receiving the technical ID, which you can use in follow-up operations just to get the information about the execution. And it's clear the next operation is get process status, that after you have started your robot in RPA platform, you can use this ID to analyze this actual status, asking the system in a pooling mode, asking about the actual status, and depending on the result status which are returning by the system, you can make further decisions. Either you are going to the loop waiting for the any new status you are looking for. For example, if you are still in progress or a running bot still, if it is completed, you are okay, you can go on and go to the successful path of your process. Or if you are getting an error, then you can model how you react on the error in case of robot has been failed to perform their job. And the next 2 operations are about the results. If robot has did some job, he produced some data. On the easy RPA platforms, usually robot puts this data into the so-called data store. And if you need to find this data and get it to for the process, then you first have to find the data store, because usually on the design phase you have a mnemonic name of a data store where the data will be stored, and depending on the environment, test, production environment, the actual technical ID can be really different, and it's more safe to use these mnemonic values. You can find the technical ID which is proper for the current environment, and then you can use a search item operation which allows you to get the actual data produced by the robot. It's a JSON-like structure, and then you can analyze this data and use it in your process to continue the execution, doing what you want to do. In which areas usually we use RPA techniques? It may be not so specific for easy RPA. It actually can be any RPA tool. First of all, it's I think origin of any RPA tool that we are automating human tasks. Those tasks which are routine tasks performed on a daily basis, the same job you are doing, there is no any deviations, no any decision you just need to do. It's very easy to automate with RPA. With easy RPA, when we have OCR and ML included out of the box, the next 3 operations is quite useful. You can start document analysis, you can recognize, extract the data out of the files you're providing. You can also implement some validation or data conversion mechanism based on the robots, and then continue your process based on this information you have. And discussing about easy RPA or RPA in general and Camunda itself, I want to a little bit come back to the topic of hyperautomation, which has been also taken a little bit about by Tommaso in his speech. Now when we are talking about the automation in our organizations, we are coming to the new paradigms called hyperautomation. Nowadays, a lot of different organizations in their movement forward in the IT spent a lot of budget and efforts to automate their task and digitizing a lot. But in many cases, it's done not, how to say, as a general umbrella, but it's point by point. Here we are using robots, here we have CRM, here we have RPA, but they are not somehow joined all together. And here we are coming to the hyper-automation, where we want to orchestrate all this IT stuff we currently have. In reality, hyperautomation usually has 4 main steps. The first step is a discovery, just to understand what you have in your IT landscape, how it behaves. What is important here is that you can rely on your feelings or communication with your management, where you have pitfalls, bottlenecks, or whatever. But in a better way, you have to use some techniques which are provided by so-called process mining, which is based on the data which is already available in your organization in the different log files or data lakes, just to analyze how your system behaves and what information you can extract out of it, and to understand where you can go and how you can improve your infrastructure and where you can put your main efforts. And in the whole history or story of hyperautomation, I think this is the only step where Camunda is not still doing anything. You need to do some other tools. All other steps are really actually covered by the Camunda. After you have discovered what you need to do, you go to the design phase, where you are starting to more thorough analysis what is going on and start creating the diagrams, modeling the stuff you're having in your systems, and thinking how you can join everything in your IT landscape. And design phase, it's a similar step from the Camunda perspective, process modeling, and here we can use web modeler. And we're speaking about Camunda 8, even more. We can start using web modeler, and as we discussed in the previous speech, it's really a flexible tool which can bring together people in the organization, business and IT, and communicate and collaborate effectively to create the right processes. After the process have been done, we are going to the automation phase, and here we are again using Camunda in its full power to execute our processes. And here also in automation phase, we can make additional decisions about the tooling we're using in our IT landscape, because we can understand that many tools which are using in the organization have been started using long ago, and maybe we can find even more better tools to automate the same stuff and more effectively resolving the issues we had why we have selected those tools. And this is the core of a Camunda. After we have started the automation and execution of our process, we are coming as usual in the from the management perspective, PDCA cycle, Deming cycle, we are going to the improvements. And here Camunda also gives us a good instrument called Optimize, which is based on business intelligence, collecting the data from the processes you are executing. You can visualize it. You can create quite easily different dashboards where you can see the KPIs of a process, the performance of your processes, and to analyze this information and to understand where are the bottlenecks and where you can really improve and bring to the center the optimization and improvements of your processes. And this is really great stuff to hyper-automate. I think Camunda is a good player on the market just to do all this stuff. For now, it's all, I think. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions, you are welcome.
Thank you, Alexei. I do have a couple of questions.
Sure.
And the first would be a very simple one. You showed a very nice connector to the product, which is also doing a lot of useful things on our customers. But the question is, how long did it take you to develop? So, like, what was the effort, and how long did it take you to develop the connector?
Actually, it's not so difficult because, as I told it, Camunda provides already an SDK. If you're a Java developer, it's very easy to understand how to use it, how to apply it. I think that we spent more time just to investigate the API provided by the Easy RPA, because we're a little bit aside of this tool from the different team. And actual implementation, I think maybe 2 or 3 weeks is enough if you're a Java developer.
Thank you. Me again. Thank you for the speech. One more question. In your connector, we have seen a possibility to get data from a storage. So basically, as I understand, Camunda allows you to work with data and pass it through the process.
Yes.
and you can, according to the data you receive, you can trigger different processes or use it in. Okay, great, thank you. That was just a clarification, you know.
I maybe a little bit more that about the modeling and usage. That when you start to use Camunda, when you are getting data out of external system, again, you cannot influence what it provides you, just the data structure which is defined by the vendor of that system. But on the side of the Camunda, as we told also before in your previous question, you don't really need to keep the whole data structure within the process. In the activity where you are just using as a connector, our connector or whatever else, you can use so-called inbound, outbound mapping just to create another process variable where you will store only that those attributes were really interesting for you or which are needed to execute the process. This is the best paradigm you have to apply, that not to store all the information within the process itself.
Thank you, Alex. I understood this, but needed the clarification.
Yeah, for sure. You are welcome.
Thank you. And maybe then some more questions from my side. Let's start with the first one. So you said most of the connectors on the marketplace are open source, right?
Yeah.
So what about your connector?
The same.
So basically anyone can go GitHub and start using it, and it can be modified, right? If required. Okay, so maybe then going back to the hyper-automation topic and the total understanding of basically the marketplace. We've mentioned RPA, we mentioned BI tools, we mentioned data, we mentioned blueprints, and basically that's it, or I can design whatever connector I want for the specific use case and I can upload it to marketplace. I don't know, just something out of...
it should be your own decision. You can, the connector is a good paradigm which can be used to integrate of a process with a third-party systems which is orchestrated by the process. And if you see the potential for reusability, it's better to create a connector, because it's also quite common for many organizations that many departments are not knowing what the other departments are doing, and each department or even team sometimes implements the same stuff. And having connectors and having them published either on the Camunda marketplace, or it could be even some internal storage where you can share the information via, for example, this center of excellence in your organization about the processes, to spread the information that this integration is already done, and you publish the connector inside your organization. All the teams start to using it in the same way.
Okay, so because we had a very good example with RPA and BPM. So why you think Camunda is actually open for to give the RPA vendors and RPA developers an opportunity to be published on their platform? So because sometimes they are doing pretty similar stuff.
Okay.
So then
it's quite interesting question. Actually, yes, RPA sometimes confuse people, because if we just take this abbreviation, RPA, it's robotic process automation, and many people really believe when they start using the RPA that they are automating their processes, but reality is a little bit different. RPA is a technology which we in the business process management area usually talk that it's task automation actually. It's small chunk of activities. Yes, it could be a small process, some chunk of activities you are performing, but usually it's really a task. And when we're talking about Camunda, we are talking not about the single step or a single chunk of small actions that you need to perform your task. We are talking about business end-to-end processes which involves many different tools, systems, involving also human beings in the process, and you can really bring this automation to the new level, orchestrating humans, AI, for example, third-party systems, RPAs, whatever via the API, and involve also the human to make the decisions.
So
They are not contradictory, they are complementary tools.
complementary. So, have you seen with the customers that they're doing some pieces of work, like doing RPA or some other things, but then they realize that they need a more robust and sophisticated software to replace the RPA, for example?
With replacement, I'm not sure that I have been faced, but I think that also, again, about this complementary, that starting with RPA, believing that they're doing process automation, after some time they can start understand that it's really, they need something more, and then when looking to the market, what to do. And then they come to the BPM vendors and see that they can even do more. As I told that it's not a substitution, it's a complementary technologies, and you have to evolve in the organization to understand. And also, if somebody is interested, you can go to the website and look about process maturity model introduced by Camunda, and to have a better understanding how you are moving in this process mind and how you are doing the automation and applying of process ideas in your organization.
Well, let me answer this question from my side, because I know the answer. And the answer is yes. One of our customers actually was using the RPA tool, and they realized that like more sophisticated BPM tool would be better. So they actually put a lot of tasks under the BPM concept. So because we need to prepare for the demo, I would like to give some time to Maria to prepare some couple of minutes, and then I will also talk a little bit to keep the time while guys are preparing. So the reason we are actually mentioning the RPA and easy RPA, because we see a lot of use cases with the customers where they need to bring together RPA and BPM and Camunda. And the thing is that because most of the big vendors, they are into low-code, no-code approach, which is also in some form realized with under the Camunda concept. Still, the people that are in the center of excellence for the RPA, they are less technical in most of the cases. They are more into processes and understanding and defining the process to be automated. And we saw the need to develop something which is more robust, because we are also doing a lot of RPA projects. And that's the reason we came up with something which is Java focused for the RPA developers and for BPM developers, and now those guys speak same Java language in most of the cases, because even to develop the connector, you still need to know Java. So it looks like we are ready to jump into the next session. And I'm happy to introduce Maria, and he will talk about the real use case post-COVID, I think.
Yeah.
We will talk about how to onboard employees. And the thing is, because we're a reasonably big company and we are doing the onboarding, it might be interesting for us. But when we talk about the Camunda customers, in most of the cases, the companies are also with numbers of 30,000, 40,000 employees. So when you get to this number, things with onboarding and getting the onboarding process right becomes very important. So, Maria, now it's your floor. And yes,
Thank you, Alex. Thank you. To the start, I would like to introduce a little bit myself. I work in IBA Group performing different roles, independent of projects, business analyst, product owner, process developer, Camunda expert, and so on. I have a certificate, Camunda engineering certificate, and for last year I have worked closely with Camunda platform, and I am with my team responsible for developing our service based on Camunda platform. So for the start, my presentation, I would like to give you some little prehistory about this use case. We all understand the routine of HR processes of departments, and when we use a lot of flows of people's documents, statements, orders, such of a place to sign some documents, it's so really crazy, and it looks like endless horror that only HRs know about. So, and now imagine April 2020, coronavirus, that breaks complicated processes. In this situation, it's not possible to, sorry, yeah. In this situation, it's even impossible to schedule some meetings with the employees to sign documents, to communicate each other, etc. And on the one hand, the coronavirus did for our life a lot of negativity, but on the other hand, it opened up many business opportunities. In particular, in that moment was born our project of remote onboarding employees for IT company. So the challenge was to organize the process of remote requirement into taking into according a lot of regulations and the impossibility of arranging face-to-face meetings with the candidate. On the slide, you can see the process diagram of the process that was before we start working on the process. This diagram is as you can see, the process is very big and very difficult. The HRs has a lot of routine tasks that only know about it, that only know responsible for it. And all members of the process didn't understand who and what is the moment responsible for some actions in this process. And on the other hand, was what a difficulty to this process, that the process must have a lot of different systems that HR works, and it gives some complexity to this process. When we start working with this project, so first of all, we create this diagram as is, and then we analyze this diagram, analyze some points and actions of members of this process. We think about what we can automate, what we can improve, and in the end of this process, architecture overview, you can see in the screen, we use a lot of connectors that help improving the process and make this process more efficiently. For example, we use SendGrid connector. We use a lot of web application forms that integrate in new process. Our customer works with Lotus Notes, so you know that the system very old and not very flexible to changing. We also use here our new connector EasyRPA that we created. We use here S7, S3 connector and some specific models of AI. So, of course, of this process, we analyze and we improve this process using EasyRPA platform, because using this connector EasyRPA, we can automate a lot of human tasks that work that made by our HR employees. And using EasyRPA connector, we have document recognition and data extraction from candidate documents. And during the process, using this connector, we can validation data. And of course, in this case, as Camunda showed, its power and possibilities. All endpoints of this process we can we can make in one process, and we can analyze and monitoring progress as a process. We can see running of the process, and we can understand what candidate is, what step is, who responsible of these steps, etc., etc. Also, we have analyzed analyze efficiency of this process, and we using this a lot of connectors in our process. We also see more flexibility and adaptability of Camunda platform. So it gives us a lot of opportunities to integration with other systems. And in the end, automation of this process allowed us to reduce some number of human errors and increase efficiency of the process in all. Just a moment. And now I would like to say you some more important things about results of this project. First of all, it should be noted that due to automation of this process with use Camunda platform, we reduce the average time of onboarding on one employee from several days to only 4 hours. Much of this or little, anyway, it's had a big impact on a few more pleasant sets. This increased the reputation of the company, because the company quickly responded on the changes environment and was able to build a new process. This in turn increased staff satisfaction, increased employee net promoter score by 8%, but that's pretty significant number because of considering the company, the size of the company. And using the EasyRPA platform, we were able to correctly recognize and classify about 85% of documents, candidates' documents. And finally, we reduced the document reruns by 67%. Thanks to this, we have greatly accelerated the onboarding process at minimum human costs. So, and as I mentioned earlier, this process itself was created on Camunda 7. And however, in 2022, Camunda released the flagship powerful product, Camunda 8. Given the fact that sooner or later all we need to upgrade the version of the product, we developed the product, the process of the new version, Camunda 8. And I would like to show you a little bit demo using Camunda 8. And this process now is not in production, but I would like to demonstrate the huge potential of the new platform. So we created, for demonstration, we created a simple process to understand that the process was understandable for all participations of our event. It's not real one. We use here just sample forms just to show you, show data capturing. We use here not all of connectors, only C connectors, for example. And on the screen you can see now the simplified process diagrams that we created in Camunda. I would like to show you in the demo some more details about 3 connectors that we use in our process demo, only about SendGrid, webhook connector, and of course our EasyRPA connector that we created with our team. So, and now I would like to demonstrate this project. So, if something went wrong, so bear with me, because online demo, it's all time have some surprise. So, just a moment. Just a moment. No, you can escape. No. No. So how I can escape? No, just no. Please bear with me. It's live demo. Oh, thank you, Alex. So now you can see on the screen. Okay, we created here. Just a moment. Process. I would like to show you our project demo. So it's a simple diagram. So you can see on the monitor this simple process. So here in this process we have only three members, or three actors of the process: is candidate, HR, and EasyRPay platform. All these actions are orchestrated by Camunda platform. So so it's really very easy to start. We go to the, just a moment, to the task list. So find our process and start process. At the start process, HR must give information about candidate to our system. For example, I would like to start this process to Alex, for example, okay? So Alex will work on the Warsaw, on the second department from, for example, 20 June. And so this is email box, our Alex. So, and the process has started. Then we can go to the operate to see running the process. Just a moment. Operate instances. Find our process. And we can see that the instance go to the process diagram. Here we start, just a moment. We start a project, our process from filling the form. Then we can see that Camunda sent to candidate, to Alex, via mail using SendGrid connector some email. So go to the Alex email box, and you can see here that SendGrid sent the email for our candidate. This is first email that HR sent to candidate. So and in this email we ask future candidate fill out onboarding form and submit requirements document. The candidate will go to the link and he can see the form, web form, and must to fill this form. For example, Poland, city Warsaw, some address, some contact number, and the candidate must give for our process her identity document. For example, it will be, just a moment, it will be ID card, for example. So where is our Alex? ID card. Okay, I agreed with all these boxes, and I will send the form to our process. So come back to operate, and here we can see that our process went further. The next step, worked our EasyRPA connector that start process of extracting data. Here you can see that then this data EasyRPA connector get from her data store, and using this data, candidate data, EasyRPA connector created documents using templates. So I will show you, I would like to show you just a moment modeler, more details about connector. For example, we just a moment, we here in this action, in this point, in the block of details, you can see that to use this connector is very easy. We only give to our system some properties to integrate, and then our connector start working. On the EasyRPA platform, it looks like here. For example, just a moment, I started the project, process 5994 on this date, and status of the project just completed. So we come back to our operator to show you next point, next steps of the process. So also these actions must created by EasyRPA connector, and then next step that Camunda using send grid connector send to our candidate next email that said about new information to our candidate. So you can see on the screen in our mailbox next email. In this email, we say candidate next steps, what he or she must do, and open it. It is open and print documents, sign the documents, and scan and upload signed documents, and send original documents by post, for example. And then candidate go to the link of. And in this web form, the candidate should have signed document and add this document to this web form. Okay, for example, I choose this file. Just a moment. So where is my documents? Work, Camunda. Oh my God! Just a moment. Where is my folder? Camunda presentations. Here. Yeah, thank you, Alex. So, for example, here there are documents. For example, it will be a contract with candidates. We choose this contract, and we will send the documents in our process. Come back to the operate. We can see that the next point, the next step in our process is sub-processes to getting signed documents. In these sub-processes, there are two tasks that we see on the screen. First of all, the system gets signed documents from the form from a candidate. And the second point, HR must check all its documents okay or something went wrong. And so in this moment, Camunda create in their task list the task for HR. You can see on the screen component of Camunda task list. And here we can see this task that we just created. So we assign this task to me, like I am HR. I check these documents, all is okay, or is something not okay, and I, for example, check this, okay, and I complete this task. If something went wrong, so I would like to show you in the modeler. If something went wrong, then during our process we come back to some steps behind. And then also the Camunda repeated these steps in our diagram. So we ask to the process that all documents is okay. We will go to the next on our flow to the next step. You can see that in the line we can see that the instance of the process go further. Next steps also our EtherPay connector recognize document type. It's contract, it's PPK, it's something else. Then EtherPay import candidate data to corporate system. In our case, it was Lotus Notes, because in Lotus our customers have a lot of databases for employees. And then EtherPay create access requires in this a lot of databases. For example, create request to get some equipment for candidate, to get some access to databases, to get some access to project, etc. And then next step, Camunda using SendGrid connector send welcome letter to the candidate. It's also very easy. You can see, for example, in Modeler that to use this SendGrid connector, you must only give to the Camunda some properties in areas of details. So you can see is not very big properties that we must show the receiver, email address from we send to the candidate, and create the body of our email to a candidate. So come back to the operate. So we will here on this step. So Camunda sent to our candidate the welcome letter. So we will check it in our box. So we can see here the next email to the candidate, and this mail we ask the candidate learn some lecture about safety training. So and the candidate will go to the link and you can hear and learn some lesson about safety and health, and then check. Okay, and send this that he made this task, and then in the operate you can see also that this subprocess is completely, and you can see that our instance go to the endpoint, onboarding completed. In our task, in this process, we use some rules that, for example, when the candidate didn't learn this lesson, so we send you kindly reminder that, dear candidate, you have a task, please go to the link, and then you complete your onboarding process. So, in this, Camunda give us a lot of possibility to see this process runtime, running of our process. And here there are a lot of possibility to monitoring this process in real life. And also you can see that task list modeler we use during our process. And there are in the Camunda has a very valuable for business tool. This is like Optimize that show you some analytics, statistics during the process. You can get from this tool some reports of your processes, and analyze this information. We can improve our process. We can see bottlenecks of the process, etc. So I think I end. Alex, over to you.
Thank you, Maria. So it is really hard to ask any question after the beautiful demo and before the lunch. So basically, let me maybe give some experience of what I see. Of course, when I was onboarded to IBA Group, there was nothing like this, but long time ago, it was before COVID, it was a long time ago. But I did some form of onboarding when I moved to Poland, so it was a really interesting experience, especially when we have a lot of documentations here in Poland to be completed, done, and all the other stuff. And we see some of our, not a big customers, but still use some of the onboarding processes with the training and some applications so that they need to get things learned. And yeah, Maria, thank you very much for your time, for the time you spent preparing the demo, because demo speaks for itself always.
Yeah.
I guess I can speak hours and hours, but when you show things and when you see things with your own eyes, you definitely can get the confidence that things can be done very easily with Camunda, and of course if you have experienced engineers like we have at IBA. So thank you to all of you who made it to the very end. Oh well, we have questions.
Hello, Maria. Thank you for the speech and the presentation demo. It was kind of without surprises, I believe.
Yeah.
So went good. One more question. We didn't describe, no one mentioned about forms that Camunda 8 has, forms generator.
Yeah.
And as I saw in your demo, you use forms and aggregating data, etc., etc. And from the point of view as a Camunda expert and as I understand analytic,
Yes.
with your experience, without any technical background, you can use Camunda now to manage process and without, pinging developers, hey, add the labels, some label here in the form, you can manage all the process yourself. Do
Yes.
I understand it correctly?
Yes, you right understand. In Camunda Modeler, use BPMN standard. That standard is very useful, very understandable for all members of the process, for business and for IT. And we start working with some processes. We create the diagram, and then using these blocks in this BPMN language, BPMN standard, it's very understandable for all members. Of course, sometimes we maybe, if not enough experience in development, in engineering, maybe some people need some help for give some variables of actions to give some properties to the system. But there are a lot of documentation by Camunda, and it's very easy to understand what we must do in this process, in this moment, in these actions. So it's easy.
I see that Easy RPA helps you a lot with
Yes, Easy RPA help us with human task, because we know that HR's actions, HR have a lot of routines tasks, yeah, and this task can be automated.
It's pity we don't have any demo of Easy RPA today. So, but okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So thank you again, thank you all who made it to the end of this, and I hope to see you back maybe in a year, maybe in a more comfortable time, in a bigger audience. So thank you,
Thank you.
and hope to see you again.
Thank you.